So that was Farrell, and now we're going to talk about Kanye, are we?
We're going to talk about Kanye West, indeed.
You're so with it, Mark.
No, hey, only because I'm reading it off a screen.
Yeah, Kanye West. This is my piece. I picked this up because I keep spotting bits of research and on warning us about narcissistic leaders. Let me define narcissism for you. It's a pursuit of vanity or egotistic admiration of one's own physical or mental attributes. Okay, so you may look around your office now. Do you see any of your leaders that are particularly vain?
So I'd be the one looking in the mirror, yeah?
Be the one looking in the mirror. As Craig said, what kind of psychometric do you need for narcissism? You just look in the mirror. Anyway, it brings in Kanye West, because apparently this guy reckons that Kanye West is turning out to be a bit of a narcissist. He's saying things like... he quoted to the press, "Respect my trend-setting abilities. Once that happens, everyone wins." And apparently he uses inflammatory tweets. Don't know why it's inflammatory, I don't get it. But apparently he tweeted, "The second verse of New Slaves is the best rap verse of all time in the history of rap, period."
Well, I'll tell you why it's inflammatory. If I wrote a different rap lyric, I'd say that was a bit inflammatory, saying that your work is the best ever.
Anyway, so they say that this guy Kanye is a good example of someone who's developing this kind of big-headedness, basically, simply put. And in leadership, it can have some advantages.
Really?
Well, think about it.
I can get how in leadership bigging up your company and saying nice things about your employees and all of those positive things, but not the sort of stuff that he's saying.
Well, they're linking it to a high sense of self-worth, and a high sense of self-worth. You can help people advance through the ranks, people put themselves forward, portray confidence and so on.
Interesting.
More likely to be confident in their abilities.
Des, can I put you on the spot here? But bearing in mind you'd probably like to stay employed by Grant Thornton, but out of the four of us, you're the one who's working for the big corporate. What was it? One of the top 5 in the world. So what sort of... Do you see traits of narcissism from the top brass?
You do see, we call it alpha male type syndrome, and tends to be more on that side. Considering most of our partners, especially in my part of the world, are male, so it's not a gender thing here. But you know, there's, and to me, it's, I can understand the confidence. It's when this narcissism. Sorry, you're talking about use this word narcissism, but it's not. You know, I'm probably using the word more something like arrogance. You see arrogance more, and when confidence is pretty good. It depends when confidence overspills into arrogance. And as most people know, most employees leave bosses, not companies.
So how do you?
Yes, that's a good
very
point.
interesting. Yes, so if I think back, I've left more bosses than I've left companies.
Yeah.
So there's this thin line, perhaps, between confidence and narcissism. Is that?
I think they're possibly linked in some way, but let's not confuse the two concepts. Although the article does.
I think it does.
Well, maybe that's why I am then.
But it points out that people with narcissistic tendencies, which I'm assuming they're measuring from one of the number of different psychometrics you can use to measure this, they are more likely to be seen as knowledgeable about their industry, whatever that industry is, excellent at taking the initiative, at managing performance, and achieving results. The sort of thing you promote somebody on.
Absolutely.
Based on that.
Absolutely.
And narcissists are more likely to display those characteristics.
But if you call someone a narcissistic or narcissist, it's hardly a compliment, is it, really?
No, but if you call them confident, then that is. Yeah, unless, of course,
some people are proud of arrogance.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen narcissism used in a psychometric. So, I think they are taking the words and translating them.
But the only bit about the article that I liked about it, because it's got a bit of a counterintuitive finding. They make the statement that people with low... they compare, by the way, Kanye West as the rock star with the rock stars of industry like Jack Welch, Richard Branson, Steve Jobs, etc. They're not exactly humble people.
Can we throw in my favourite, Mr. O'Leary, in there?
And Mr. O'Leary, he's not what you would call
him.
He's not humble, is he?
No,
long way from it.
People with low self-confidence hold several advantages over their more confident counterparts. So would you ever think that less confident people have advantages in leadership?
Well, I think one of the key things that any leader has is the ability to listen to people. And if you read,
what did you say?
If you read things like How to Win Friends and Influence People, it's like, you should be trying to draw from people, and successful leaders obviously have to bring the maximum from the people that work from them. So I would say that if you're particularly outspoken and arrogant, I think there's also a difference between CEOs and leaders and entrepreneurs. I think there's a different skill being able to sort of build a business up from nothing than there is to run a large organisation.
Definitely, yeah.
And to me, the music star type of thing tends to be more the self-made type of thing. And I think, if we're talking about arrogant people in music, my personal bête noire is Justin Bieber. It doesn't stop him having 45 million followers on Twitter. It doesn't stop him being the second most viewed YouTube video in history and that type of thing. And yet if you hear what he comes out with, because ultimately my view of arrogance or narcissism is also how much you overestimate yourself. So if you're Steve Jobs and you're pretty headstrong, yeah, but you pretty much built Apple from nothing, and therefore you've actually got something to back it up with. Kanye West, to my mind, is a much more seasoned and lauded artist than, say, Justin Bieber. So if the pair of them came up with similar statements, I would say that it was Bieber that was being much more arrogant.
That leads on to the dangers of self-confidence that these guys, and I'll come back to them because Des kind of knows of these people, don't you? You know of these researchers, although you may not know them by name, but I'll come back to that because they work for the Hogan organisation. And they say that the danger of self-confidence, so let's take these guys who have done something wonderful entrepreneurially and so on. They build a big company like Steve Jobs and they've got it back behind them, their track record. The more self-confident you are, the more critically people judge your competence. And this guy, one of the vice presidents of the Hogan organization, has done some research and discovered that even if you act modestly, even if it's fake modesty, people tend to add 20 to 30% competence to your claim, so they see you as even more competent.
Wow. So play it down.
Be modest.
If I say, I'm really not that good
Yeah.
on the air, then everybody thinks I'm really brilliant.
Yeah, I've got the track record, but I'm not bragging about it.
Is this more... This is wrapped up in emotional intelligence as well, Mike,
It'll
I would
come into
argue, in terms of being self-aware, understanding
Yes.
others' viewpoints, just,
Yes.
being able to have
Very
that sort
much
of...
so.
It says, Kanye West's confidence proved at least mildly toxic. His latest album, Yeezus, received mixed reviews, and his sales are not good. So
Maybe it's just a
people are
bad
not
album, though.
It might
I
be
was going to
bad
say
music, yeah.
that they draw that link between his arrogance and the sales, but as Craig rightly says, maybe it just wasn't a very good album.
Yeah. Let me finish it with what I like a list, and it says, okay, if you want to fake your modesty, if you're quite got a great track record and you're really proud of it and you're in danger of being arrogant, try a bit of modesty by tempering your authority. Don't pull rank with employees. Well, that's always been a bit of good advice, I would have thought.
Yeah.
Promote other people. A characteristic of a successful manager is the ability to promote others, often above yourself, and acknowledge what others do. Okay, good.
All sounds like good advice to me.
Good, emotionally intelligent person.
Yeah. But let's remember who did this research. Now, you know them, don't you? Because you are qualified to use this.
Well,
particular
I am,
instrument.
yeah. I haven't done too many of them, but yeah, the Hogan have done the Hogan Development Survey, otherwise known as Hogan's Dark Side,
Well,
is a well-known psychometric, and that looks at the dark side of personality when strengths are overused and they become derailers.
Yeah. So confidence can become arrogance. So the whole thing is, remember, written by people who are in the market for psychometrics to measure this stuff.
And are they anything to do with Hulk Hogan?
Hulk Hogan.
That's all right. Move on.